Not quite yet.
Oh, not quite yet. Go back.
You're okay. All right. Okay.
Am I on?
Yep. All right. So, hey, I just want to welcome everybody. My name is Jeff Harrison. And as I just put in the chat, sometimes things happen when we're doing things live that are kind of exciting. And today, while we were getting our hostess with the mostest lined up for our show today, it was kind of like, hey, what if we did something a little different? And the cool part about this is live, so it's unscripted. So we said, hey, let's give it a shot. So what I get to do, and I'm very, very grateful that I get to do a little bit of interviewing with our guest today of Dr. Laura Shackelford. So let's welcome her to the show. Good morning, Dr. Laura.
Good morning, Mr. Harrison. How are you?
Hey, I'm good.
Everyone.
You know, this is kind of fun because it's different. We get to find out a little bit more about you and kind of your journey. And I know sometimes, especially if we're not used to it, to set it here for an hour and talk about ourselves. So this is kind of fun that I get to ask you some questions and get going. But hey, before we get going, do us a favor. Those of you in the chat that are joining us, whether you're on YouTube or you're on the website or on Zoom, do us a favor. Just let us know where you're at. What we're seeing is we're starting to see people from all over the world join us, and we're excited that you're joining us. So we want to just recognize you, whether you're in Palm Desert or you're in Palm, Coast, Florida, or wherever you're at. We really appreciate you joining us. So Dr. Laura, hey, to get started, let's first of all, let me ask that question of how long have you been in the science of mind teaching? Not as a minister, but how long have you been in the teaching?
I want to say maybe since about 1994, probably around there, 94, 95. That's when I first found our teaching.
So, let me ask you, sometimes there's like for me, and I know probably for other people, hey, first of all, Calm Specimen, thank you. They're from India. We really appreciate you tuning in today and let us know where you're at. There are probably 40 names in there. And I don't know if it was a collective that we said, hey, let's have Calm Specimen tell us where everybody's from. I bet you may not be from India. Let us know. Let us know.
I thought you said India. I was like,
I think I did make a slip.
I was like, oh, how exciting. I'd like to talk to you.
I took my glasses off and all of a sudden it became India, but it's Indio. Was there a trigger that caused you to do something different? Because let's face it, we always have something in our lives where there's a fork in the road and we have to make a decision. What was your fork in the road and why did you decide to go to CSL?
Oh, I didn't just decide. It was a journey. When I hit 40, it was so funny because Dr. Tom used to talk about that's when people really tend to go on their spiritual journey. And at that point, I had been married like 21 years. And there was this emptiness within me. And I decided I needed to end my marriage, and it wasn't anything bad. It was just, I couldn't see myself another 20 years. And I had little boys and it was a very difficult decision. And I was in a dark place, just really dark. I remember I had two amazing dreams during that time. One dream, I was in a car and it was foggy. I couldn't see where I was going. The next thing I knew, I was in the passenger seat. I'm trying to reach over and drive this car and I kept being pushed away. And what I realized was there was a divine presence there. And it was basically what came to me is relax, let go. I'm in charge. I will take care of you. And that gave me peace. And then the second thing that happened was I'd taken the boys with my business partner. We'd gone skiing in Lake Tahoe, and I was really also in a dark place. And I was meditating, I was crying, and in my meditation, I kept seeing this light kept flashing. And I'm like focusing on it in my meditation. And I realized it was a lighthouse.
Mm.
And what came to me is, oh, no matter how dark it is, there's that spark of that light is always there. God is always there. And then the next thought that came to me is, no, that's your light and it's always there. And that kind of sparked my search.
Well, whenever you got started, um, it sounds to me like that's not uncommon. Like you said, okay, there were a couple things. You turned 40, there was a change in your marriage, and it's almost like there's that rough spot in your road where you say, hey, this isn't working and I have to do something different. And so many times, and where Einstein says, hey, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, but expecting different results. And you decided to do something different. Give us an idea when or what that change started to feel like when you said, hey, there is a power in the universe greater than I am, and all I have to do is be like, I look around, I have lights up here, these lights do not work until I plug them in and turn them on. How did you see the change in your life when you plugged into that universe?
I just knew that there were answers out there that I didn't know. I knew that I just kept being drawn, saying there's an answer out there. There's something I don't know that if I only knew, my life would be better. And I was open to that. And I went to a dear friend and I was crying and I was telling her my life is a hot mess. I don't, and I know, and I told about my dreams and I said, I really think that spirit, there's something within me calling that I need to be doing. And she told me about this lady in San Diego, a spiritual teacher. And I went to her for a while. And that's when she helped me formulate my own personal mission statement that I have. So this was written probably in about 92. And this was before I ever found this teaching. And can I share with you what it is?
Of course.
It said, it's titled Beacon of Light, which was from my dream, was from my meditation. And it says, I am a beacon of universal light and unconditional love. I heal myself by allowing all my feelings to flow freely without judgment, blame, shame, or guilt. I accept and love all of me. I share this wisdom with others, freeing them of ignorance and limitation, guiding them back to their true essence of pure love and pure light, guiding them back to God. And that was ever before the thought of ever being a minister came into my mind.
So would you say that's the difference between spirituality and religion? Now, before you answer that, I just want to jump over here because we've got a lot of people tuning in here. And I just want to give some shout outs and say thank you for joining us. We have Relaxed Civilian, Demawi Palm Desert. Thank you. We have Nice Settler, Sun City Palm Desert. I was in Sun City yesterday shooting a video and it is beautiful out there.
Did you say Demawi's on?
Yes.
Demawi, hi, sweetie. Miss you.
I apologize. I didn't know if Demawi was a code for a saying or was it someone's
I
name.
think it's her name. That's who I'm thinking of.
Demawi, thank you. If you'll clarify that for me for now, I'll know going forward. Popular Newbie says, I'm a member at CSL and live in Palm Desert, but she's vacationing in Napa. Hey,
oh,
good for you.
Oh,
Let's have a moment of silence for her. Okay, next. All right. The next one is Relaxed Civilian. It says, Nice Settler asks a question. Do you have a religious training? Did you have a religious training as a kid? And we'll come back to that. This one is from Intrigued Creature. I am in, Clatskanie, Oregon.
Oh.
Question: how do we recognize our purpose in life? Second question: for those who have denied all aspirations for life, how do we turn that attitude around to recognize our dreams? And so there's some really great questions in there. But let's jump back into the question that I asked you about. What is the change you saw in your life when you decided, hey, to plug into the universe? And then let's dive into these questions because those are excellent.
Well, what's amazing is I really kind of listened to my intuition, to what I was guided to. I was just open. I didn't know what the heck I was doing when it started with spirituality. And And so I think you have to listen to what feels right for you. So I got this, my mission statement, but then I stopped going to her because it wasn't resonating with me anymore. It wasn't feeding me. There were things that the last part was where she wanted, we delved into things like what were some of my issues, and they bring up your childhood and stuff. And what was the last for me was she wanted me to call my parents and tell them all the things that they did to hurt me. and I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. They didn't do anything on purpose. It was the way I interpreted it. I have to take responsibility for it. So that's when I stopped. I said, I'm not blaming anybody for who. I'm grateful for everything, that was already within me. And so I kept searching, and and that's it. You just keep searching. And so what you're doing is you're telling the universe, I know that there's answers out there. Please guide me. I wasn't consciously saying that, but in my heart, that's what I was doing. I was looking for answers. I knew that there was something out there. Somebody had asked what my religion. I had gone to Catholic school up to 6th grade. And even as a child, Lori and I touched on this the other day, there were things that they were telling me that wasn't resonating with my soul. So that's what I would tell you. I would tell you to keep searching, keep open. Spirit will guide you to the answers if you just ask the questions. I don't know if that helps.
I think it does. And something I'm going to ask, I kind of pick at things. I'm going to peel this layer back a little bit. You were searching, but it's often like whenever we misplace our keys. I don't know if it's just me. Maybe if you've never misplaced your keys, please let us know in the chat. But it's one of those things. We know we have the keys, but sometimes it's the way we reframe it. And I love asking questions. And it seems when we ask those questions, you gave that example of driving in a car, there was fog. Was there a question that was burning inside you? Like, I know there has to be more from our life than what I've experienced. What is that? What am I supposed to see? What was your question, if you remember?
It was kind of that. It was like, I felt like I didn't feel like I was really doing what I could be doing, should be doing. And in fact, it's amazing. I was sitting there thinking, I need to get out of court reporting. This is not very spiritual. I'm feeding off of the misery of other people. How can this be good? And that came up with Barbara Marx Hubbard. That thought came to me, and that's a whole other story. But I just kept asking, kind of, what is mine to do? I just knew that there was something more I was supposed to do. There was something different, but I didn't have a clue what that was. And I just was asking for guidance. What should I do? And I'll never forget too, one time I was sleeping in my bed, and all of a sudden I heard this voice talking about questions. It said, Laura, it's not that we're not giving you what you want. You're just wanting the wrong things. And I mean, I literally sat up in my bed and looked around the room because I thought somebody was in my room. It was that clear. And so I'm wanting the wrong things. So I then went even deeper. It can't be out here. It's got to be in here, and so that really, there were just those little things that happened. And I was like hungry for more knowledge. It was like this appetite. I was listening to Marianne Williamson. I was reading the Course in Miracles because she kept talking about, which I did not understand. It was way over my head. And that day, in fact, I should pull it out and see if I have a better understanding today, because I would read something and I would know what it was talking about. And then all of a sudden there'd be a nugget and I go, oh, and that's what would keep me going. But I was just searching, knowing that there was an answer out there. I just needed to find it.
Well, you said something I thought was very important, and I hope those folks listening and involving, they'll get this, is you heard that voice that said, it's not that we're not giving what you want, you're asking the wrong questions. And I know in all the time you've been a minister and we're a practitioner, and someone like me, just a kid off the street, would come into you and say, this is what's going on. And they ask something like, why is this always happening to me? Or why don't I have money? Or why am I in a bad relationship? Are those really the questions we need to ask? Is that what kind of was that voice in the dark as you were asking questions like, oh, me versus how can I?
Yeah, what was really interesting is when I told my husband I wanted the divorce. It was interesting because it wasn't really anything bad. It was me, and I told him. I said the problem is me. I feel empty inside. It was like, on your on the light, the electrical panel, there's the switches, washer, dryer, you switch them up. It was like the last one had gone off, the major one. And I just felt empty. And I knew, and because maybe, so even though I was raised Catholic and I had my children in Catholic school at that time, I I'm so grateful for my Catholicism because it did teach me, and I always did believe there was this higher power. I just didn't agree with some of the doctrine that had been taught me. But even as a child, when they would say things like, oh, be grateful that you're a Catholic because we're the one true religion and we're the only ones that are going to go to heaven. I'm like, no, I see some really good people that aren't Catholic, and my God wouldn't do that. I don't believe that. And then in fifth grade, learning about science and that that we only use the 10% of our brain or whatever the percentage is. And I thought that's what Jesus just knew how to use his brain. If I knew how to use my mind like Jesus did, I could do great things too. And so that started as a child, and that always carried through. That if I just had the key, if I just had the key. And it wasn't that I was worried about money or wanting a relationship. I wanted me.
Mm.
Does that, I don't know if that sounds selfish or crazy, but I just knew if I found me and found that connection, everything, I would be filled.
Well, that seems to fit right in with the science of mind. And when you were saying that, it reminded me, and Dr. Joe's done his presentation many times where it's like, hey, make sure you put your mask on first. If they lose cabin pressure, put your mask on first. It's then we can help other people. It sounds like to me at a very young age, you recognized, hey, until I get it right, until I feel whole, there's no way I can impact anyone else in my life. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, that was it. It was, as Dr. Tom and other spiritual teachers will tell you, the first 40 and Moses, the 40 years in the desert, I felt like I had been, and my life wasn't bad. I don't want anybody to think that my husband beat me or anything. There was just this emptiness. And so you're so busy doing, my first part of my life, getting my education, starting my own business. I was where I should have been and should have been totally at bliss, but there was the emptiness.
Mm.
And I think that's what spirit does to us, Jeff. I think when we know that we're not where we need to be, and I wasn't blaming my husband or blaming anything. I knew it was my responsibility and I had to do it. Meanwhile, even though I wasn't resonating with the teachings of the Catholic Church, I had my kids at Catholic Church in
Mm.
school because I believed in their education. I believed it was an excellent education. But I would even tell them, when you go to catechism, take what resonates with you. You don't have to believe everything Sister Alice tells you, Sister Catherine. If it feels really good to you and it makes sense to you, that's your truth. And so that's what I would tell anybody. I would tell anybody, keep searching to find your truth. Go within, read, study, listen to talks like this. There's so much stuff. This is a great time for all of us because we're on pause to really go within and take a personal inventory. What is it? Because you can't attract the right the right partner, the right job, the money from the outside. You've got to be at peace here. You've got to develop that relationship with spirit and with yourself on who you are. Why did you come here? We all came here for a divine purpose. And the ultimate purpose is love, to be love. I believe that's what we all came here. But what are we going how are we going to show up as that love in the world? If we come from that place within us, everything every once you're on that path, the universe will start giving the teachers. What do they say? When the student's ready, the teacher will appear. That's exactly what happened to me. I was ready.
Well, today, gang, we're getting a little bit of a master class from Dr. Laura, and so many great takeaways here. But before we keep going with questions that we have here, I want to jump over here to our chat because there's some great questions in here that I want to make sure we address this. Relaxavilian, Dr. Laura asked you, in your darkest hour, that is when you need to know there is a higher power. It's more of a statement, but how important is that? Because we've done shows together, and I remember one of the most, and I'm getting God bumps. So I know it's, as you say, it's time to talk about this, is when we start talking about loneliness and the rate of suicide. That was, I want to say unfortunately, but fortunately a recognizable fact. That was one of our most popular shows. Why is it when we're in those places, we need to know there's a higher power? What's the value of that?
Because you feel so alone. You feel like you're worthless. You feel like nobody loves you. You feel, what's the point? What is the point of going on? I am maybe, I am nothing. I have nothing to offer. And if if you listen to my mission statement, I heal myself by allowing all my feelings to flow freely without judgment, blame, shame, or guilt. So when I was in that place, I had to really look at myself. And that's why I didn't want to criticize my parents or say anything to them, because I had to take responsibility. So wherever you are, know that if you are here, you are a precious aspect, that you are totally loved by this universe. And this universe is waiting. Your angels are waiting basically for you just to ask for the help, to be willing to open your heart and to know that you have a divine purpose. You know what? Even if we were alone on this planet, we would never be alone. There's always that divine presence, and that presence is within you and it's guiding you. All you need to do is to reach out for help, to reach out with your mind and your heart, knowing that there's answers, and then start looking and start experimenting with books, different things. You will be guided. You will totally be guided in ways that you never would have expected. And then when you look back on your life, not when you're in it. Sometimes when you're in it, you can't see it, but you look back and you go, wow, if that dark night of the soul had not happened to me, I would not be where I am now. And thank God that happened, because just like now, it's a pause in your life to connect with spirit, to go searching for your unique answers.
Wow, that's powerful, powerful. Here's another question from Intrigued Creature. I love that. From Oregon. It says, how do we recognize our purpose in life? Boy, that's a big bite, but if anyone can answer it, you can.
Well, our divine. So what I would say to what's this person's name? What is he calling?
This is Intrigued Creature.
Okay, intrigued creature. I would tell you to what is your what do you love? If you had all the money, you did not have to worry about anything. What is it that you would love to do every day, and just it would just feed you, that you would really feed your soul? I would start with that, and then start planting that seed. And you say, oh, but I don't have the money. I get that. But right now. But if you start living your passion and knowing and really connecting with spirit, saying, this is what I do, because what you're going to do is you're going to plant seeds in your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind always says yes. So go within, figure out what you love to do. But also remember that whatever that is you do, you're also going to give it to the universe. So, in other words, I love being a minister, I love teaching. You have to frame it in a way that, yes, I am going to receive, but I am going to give back. Life is about giving and taking. And so, how can you do what your passion is? And then maybe instill that passion in others, share that passion with others. But first of all, start with what would make you happy. You really need to, and I wasn't really there yet when I first started. I truly wasn't there. I had my mission statement and I was going to stop court reporting, like I said, because I felt that didn't seem spiritual, but you can reframe it. And I did. And I reframed it to the point where I can be that beacon of light wherever I go. When I'm sitting in a deposition, I can hold that consciousness and send that love and that light to both sides, knowing that there is a divine answer here between them and the perfect right outcome will happen. That's what I do when I take depositions. So a career that I was going to throw away when I started spirituality, that's what opened so many doors to me to be involved with spirituality was my court reporting.
Dr. Laura, as you talk about that, I get this sense that so many people are hoping for change. And it sounds like one of the big keys is there's change. Can you speak to what the difference is and how to get across what sometimes to be this massive divide between I'm hoping things will change and knowing, and what that means when it comes to manifesting?
Well, I know, I mean, I can only talk for myself, but I know that I was in such emotional pain, internal pain that I just I guess I mean I would never have thought suicide. I mean, I had my wonderful children. I knew I had a lot of things to be grateful for, and I was grateful for, but there was still this emptiness, and so I just had to take action. I mean, and so you can't just sit there and go, "Woe is me," and eat bonbons and just think about how terrible your life is. There has to be an action. My action was to go searching, to find the people, the situations, the places that would resonate with my soul. When if it would resonate, then I knew I was on the right track. If it made no sense to me, then I would give it a little chance, but then I would move on. And I mean, it was amazing when I look at my life. I, Somebody I had met at my thing in San Diego, he said, "Hey, there's this lady up in Barstow. She's teaching something, and I heard it's good." It was Byron Katie. I was in Byron Katie's living room learning the work, had never heard about her. That's what I'm saying. When you hope, I mean, she had burritos brought to, I mean, she was this beautiful person, and she's sitting in her chair and we're sitting around on the floor. This was, I mean, I look at that, I go, how did this happen? But it was spirit guiding us. I mean, there's so many stories like this. And so I would just say, know in your mind that there's an answer for you. Know that there is a reason that you're here. There's a reason even for your discontent right now. It's the universe slapping you to say, wake up, you need to wake up and embrace yourself. Somebody told me they were driving somewhere, and it was I think a Catholic priest talking, whatever. And he said that the angels are sitting around in heaven waiting for people to ask for their help. And so that's the same thing with spirit. If you don't ask, if you're not open, if you don't believe that there is a connection, there is a divine power in the universe that's there, that you are connected. You are that essence. That's what I want to tell you. If you are the divine, and we're all unique. We're all unique, but none of us is better than the next person. That love is there, but you have to be the one asking for the help. You have to be the one that's open, and then you have to take action. Find some books, go on, Amazon, and look at spiritual books. Whatever your issue is, Google it and see if there's a book for it. Read it, start reading it, start taking classes. Just immerse yourself in this positivity, and it will open you up. And then the more you open up, the more will be coming at you to help you with whatever it is you are meant to be.
Dr. Laura, and also those of you watching, over the years of my life, and it sounds like with you, you've invested a lot in yourself. And if this were in a situation where we were coming to pay to see you, I mean, it's worth thousands of dollars. So please understand this, or please take the value of this and say, wow, this is someone who is already walking the path that maybe you want to be on. And we see Dr. Laura in a different light. And say, she has things that I like, whether she's always smiling, or she is that irreverent reverend, or she shows up with her gangster jacket on, whatever it may be. The thing that she has that we like, she's sharing with that with us today. Hey, before we go on, I want to give Demawi recognition. I apologize. I said I would remember the name. Demawi is Relaxed Civilian. I apologize. Sometimes these chats get to go too long and I forget that. So she asked the question, in your darkest hour, that is when you need to know there's a higher power. Thank you.
Yes.
Intrigued Creature had a question. Second question, for those who have denied all aspirations for life, how do we turn that attitude around to recognize our dreams? Well, that's a powerful question, because I think of it like this. And again, I'm just a kid from West Texas, so I'm just going to make it real simple. Then I'm going to turn it over.
Oh yeah, I'm putting an REV in front of your name, Jeff.
You're so
good.
I think of it like this. How fast can change come? Imagine you have your back to the sun and your face is in shadow. What do you have to do to put the light on your face? You just have to turn. That's how quickly it can change.
Yeah. And life can change the opposite way too. Boy, you can be looking at the sun and then you're in the darkness. All of a sudden a cloud comes over, and we think that cloud's going to be there forever, but that cloud will pass. And I know in training practitioners and all these years and so forth, and it always amazes me because we really, in practitioner training, we really discover, really delve deep into the darkness of our soul. Really, you do that in practitioner training. That's what the first year is all about. And I read some of these stories, I go, oh my God, how did they do this? But here's what I want to say is, know that that the darkest hours of your life, and you may be in them right now, but you're going to get through them. Just keep moving forward towards the light, keep moving forward. And the beauty of that is, what I believe is that you are going to be able to help so many other people to get through that darkness too, because you made it through. And that is a gift. People, like, for instance, I've had students that had been molested, and you have to forgive, and like, how do I forgive? And and I remember Neil Donald Walsh teaching us that. Would you rather be the person that kicked, or the person that was down, or would you rather be the person that was kicked? It's not a good place for either one. If you think about it, who would you have to be that person that would be thinking it's okay to kick versus and the one that gets kicked? So what I'm trying to convey is that somehow in your mind you're going to have to realize that darkness is a gift for you to then get through, and to then to be help others. It's like the ants going across the pond. We pull each other, they pull each other, and that's how they get across the pond. That's what we're all here for. We all have our shadows. We all have that sadness. Don't think if you're going through a dark moment or a dark time, or maybe it's been a dark years, I don't know, but there is an answer. You are here. Spirit has an answer for you. You have the answers within yourself. Just open yourself. Know your worth. Know that you are here for something, and that you will be guided. That's all I can say. I never aspired to be a minister. I kept saying, no, that's not for me. That is, I don't even when people call me doctor or reverend, it's like, it doesn't even, that's not what I came here to do. I came here to be that beacon of light. You have a reason to be here. Don't let this lifetime slip by with that opportunity to be that light in some way.
I want to give you two words, and I'd like you to share how powerful they are and what someone can do. The first word is grateful.
Oh,
And what can that do to start changing that dark place that maybe Intrigued Creature was mentioning? Being grateful.
you know what? Exactly. Gratitude is so powerful. If the more things that you can focus on to be grateful for, and it's just you're alive, you're breathing. You know, it's amazing once you really start thinking of the things that you do have versus focusing on the things that you don't have, how that opens you up. And the more you appreciate, and that's what the word appreciate means, it means to grow. So the more that you appreciate, the universe goes, oh, Laura likes that, let's give her more of that to experience, because that's all the universe is doing, it's answering that. So if you focus on the negativity, the universe go, oh, Laura likes negative, okay, let's give her more of that stuff. So it's an energy that you're putting out in the universe, and it's an opening of your heart and to receive more. So gratitude, if you have nothing else to start with, you don't even know where to go, start with your gratitude that you're still here. Look around you, and we're not we might be dodging viruses, but we're not dodging bombs or anything like that right now. And so there's so much to be grateful for. You live in this valley. I mean, these mountains, it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. Be grateful.
Can we, when we talk about being grateful, sometimes people say, and I'll say, hey, there's been a time in my life where I said, I have nothing to be grateful for. And all of a sudden, that was like, I slapped myself in the face and said, wait a second. I have my eyes, I have my ears, I have my sense of smell. I still have hair, all that kind of stuff. Sometimes we have to start those baby steps. It's like to climb a mountain. We have to start in the valley and take one step at a time. And all of a sudden, for me, that's all I can say is, for me, when I started giving gratitude for those little things, it's almost like using that example you said of that fog in the car, in front of your car. I started seeing a little bit more. And all of a sudden, when I looked outside, the sun was actually shining, and yet it had been shining all the time. I was just in such a fog that I didn't see it because I wasn't grateful for even the little things. I expected it to be massive stuff. And it sounds to me like you're saying, until we prepare ourselves to receive the little things, the big ones probably will not come our way.
Exactly. How can it? You're not grateful for the little ones. Why is the universe going to give you something big? You wouldn't even see it. You wouldn't appreciate it. And so, yeah, we've got to look and be grateful for like you said, we've got clean water. I've got food. I can see, I can hear. I still can think. Sometimes it's questionable, but no.
Hey,
But yeah.
we've got a lot of comments and questions, and I don't want to not recognize that real quick.
Please.
So there was a question that says, relaxed civilian, which is Damawi, said, I have never misplaced anything. I love that. But wow. She says, I was misplaced, LOL. So I want to say that. Intrigued Creature says, when I misplace something, I tell my subconscious to show me where it is. I thought that was brilliant.
I always say nothing is lost in the universe. Nothing is lost in the universe. And I relax and it always shows up.
I love that. Damawi says, once you find me, in quotes, those are air quotes. I don't use those very often. When that's what it says, once you find me, that's when you can be free. Wow.
Oh, that's beautiful, Damawi. Damawi, you're a brilliant woman too.
I love it. It says, thanks, CFSL. Is that the Canadian Football Soccer League? No, I don't. No, I'm just kidding. Center for Spiritual Living is what that is. Relaxed Civilian. That's Damawi says that for helping to direct my path to me. So that's
Oh,
here's one. It says, she says, Coronacation has given us time to do the work.
I like that name, Coronacation. That's good.
I've never heard of that one. I love that. I love it.
Thank you. I'll use that one, Coronacation.
She asks another question. She says, where do these names come from? I'm not Relaxed Civilian. I am Damawi. I wish I knew that answer. It's they're automatically generated. And as you come in, it's almost like, and not that you're a storm. It's like naming those storms through the year. They have all these that are listed. And as you come in, they give you a name. So we appreciate it when you identify yourself in here. It's really nice. And she says, this is worth and a lot of a one and a lot of zeros. You're a sweetheart. Thank you. Here says, Arlene says, this sharing of yourself with your humble authenticity is refreshing and inspires. Thank you, Laura.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And that's an example. I have a dear friend who was struggling for a long time. And when we looked at his life, we thought, boy, you've got so much to be grateful for. And we encouraged him to do one thing, to start giving back. And when he went and he started helping at the mission, his appreciation for life and what he had blossomed. Now he's in a beautiful relationship. His job has changed. His health has turned around. And it was when he realized that he didn't have it so bad. But no matter how much we said, hey, you've got it great, it didn't make sense until he started seeing others that he could actually help. So thank you so much.
Yeah. I mean, I don't do it a lot, but when there are people on the street, asking for money and stuff, I usually just let spirit guide me. And I remember I was with somebody and there was a lady there with a Hispanic lady with her little baby. And she was out, please help. And I gave her $20 and this person said, why did you do that? And I said, but for the grace of God, there go I, and we need to remember. And so it's in those moments that, I mean, I wasn't trying to brag about giving her money, but again, I don't always do it, but sometimes I'm just drawn. Spirit's telling me, this is it. You got to give this. And, but it's true, but I remember also being a child and when when the nuns were teaching us about how blessed we were to be Catholic and stuff. And I remember sitting there. Oh, and you remember how our parents would say, eat all your food because there are children in China starving and on your plate. And I sat there and I thought, well, why didn't God put me in China? Why am I so blessed? What made me so special or blessed to be born here? And so I think we need to remember that. For those that are given much, much is expected of us. And we need to remember that. We need to be that because again, but for the grace of God, there go I. And that is us. That is an aspect of us. And we need to remember that.
Dr. Laura, I want to get back into a couple of questions I have here. And it's about your journey from into being a minister and a doctor that we know you as at Center for Spiritual Living. You mentioned earlier that during practitioner training that you guys really dug into sometimes those dark moments and whatnot. If you're comfortable sharing, what was one of the things that during this investigation, this digging period that you discovered about yourself that said, wait a second, that is a stepping stone, that is not an anchor?
I guess for me, and I still am dealing with it. It's always not feeling you're good enough. And that comes, all I remember trying out, I was trying out for cheerleading practice. And my dad said to me, I was out there practicing my moves. And my dad said, if I was as big as you when I was in high school, I would have gone out for football.
Oh my gosh.
I was a beanpole then.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah. And so there's always, and I still deal with it, that I'm not good enough. That, oh, who would want, I get really nervous when I have to speak on Sunday, because it's like, I feel like I have to give, I need, these people are there wanting to be fed. And I feel that that's such an important thing. And once I get up there, I don't even know what I say. A spirit just takes over. But it's something that I realized. It's still something that I deal with, and I have to, that's still something. And that was probably the main thing, is that, but it's also served me not taking, recognizing this. That's why I started my own business, because I didn't like the way the men were treating me in banking. I was in banking when I first started working, and I didn't like the demeaning way they treated the other women. So I said, you know what? I'm going to start my own business, and I'm going to treat my employees the way I would want to be treated. Because what I recognized is, if you are even the one sweeping or the janitor, if you don't do a good job, you make me look bad as far as my name on the stationery. So I need to honor everybody and recognize how important everybody is. And that's it. No matter what business you have, everybody is important. Their job is just as important, because it's part of the whole. So I said I'm going to start my own business when I started court reporting school, and I did. And so it's always been something that irritated me, that bugged me, that pushed me, that always pushed me to make a change. And so that's kind of, I guess, that's the main thing, is wanting to be better, or wanting to be all I could be.
Dr. Laura, there are people out there watching, both on YouTube and here on our website, that are probably saying, hey, you know what? I love what you're talking about. It sounds like you've made some pivots in your life, and you did this. But this is scary. It's scary to change. How did you find that strength to say, I went from banking to starting my own business, and really being a very, I'm going to say, male dominant environment, where you're deposing, or you're doing depositions where, let's face it, there's a lot of male attorneys. How did you find that strength, and how can you share that wisdom to the people watching that say, I need to make a change right now, but I'm afraid to do that?
Well, here's what's interesting, Jeff, is I'm really a procrastinator. Be honest with you, everybody, I am a procrastinator. It's like, but when it comes to the deadline, I'm amazing. I get it done. And so I think there's just, I don't know. I can't say there was a tool other than desperation. It was desperation. It was like, I cannot continue this way. But I never thought of ending it all or whatever. It's like, there's something that I can do. I know that there's something. What do I need to do? And I just took action. I just researched, becoming a court reporter. Whoever thinks about that job? The only reason I did was because I had a friend from high school that was one, and she had told me about it. She was one in Colorado, and I was happy in banking at the time. And I thought, well, good for you. I'm happy for you. That's nice. And then when I got really irritated at work with my boss, I said, that's it. I've had it. And that's when I want it. So sometimes it's the thing that irritates you and says, I've had it, that then the mind starts working. Okay, what else can I do? And I would just say, follow that. Just, when you've had it up to here, sometimes people, I remember one of my sister friends said that she'd had it up to here with her boyfriend. He only had 6 more inches to go. Why do we do that? Why do we have to be up to here? Why can't it just be up to here and say we're done and take action? So don't let it get up to here and say you still have 6 inches. Just do it. Just go searching. Just do it. Do things that think you might interest you and have a purpose, and then don't let go. Be like that pit bull and just stick it out and do it, and you will get through it.
I love it. I just want to recognize a few more people here. Arlene says, thank you for sharing yourself and with your humble authenticity. Authenticity is refreshing and inspires. Thank you, Laura. I know I said that already. Com Specimen said, the 180 concept has often led me to better. Helpful Chatter says, this is really inspiring me. Damawi says, gratitude changes your attitude and your altitude. Boy, how true is that?
Oh, that's so beautiful, Damawi. Thank you.
Com Specimen says, SOM, Science of Mind, has given me tools to transform/heal in mind. Isn't that true? That's where it has to begin, is we have to, if we can't see ourselves healed in our mind, we will not see ourselves healed in our body and the outside world.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's why I was like this sponge when I started my spirituality. I'm like, oh, this is the answer. This is the answer. I mean, I haven't even told you about my dealings with Neil Donald Walsh and how that led me to the center. I mean, I still have so many stories.
We'll have to go 2 hours today.
Yeah, I'll have to come back for part 2. Yeah, just become curious. Be like a child. When you're a child, everything is like new and exciting, and they want to delve into it and they want to dive into it. Be like that child. Be like that child where, oh, this is what I love. I was just like, I couldn't get enough of this stuff. I just was like so consumed. And I still am. I still read spiritual stuff because I'm constantly working. I still listen to speakers and stuff because I always get nuggets. Anything that you can do to open up your awareness, open up who you are, give you tools, I say, do it. Do it. There's so many things on YouTube, and there's so people offering classes and stuff, but you got to do the work. And that's the problem. I'm trying, and I'm racking my brain, and I don't know how to do it yet, but I know it'll come. I really want to do a workshop where we really do the work. It's good to read the books and stuff, but unless you do the work and really get that, then you're just spinning your wheels a lot of times. So anyway, that's kind of, but I'm not there yet. Don't be asking me, but I'll work. Remember, I'm a procrastinator. I will get to it when I have to.
Well, something I love about what you're saying is, and you're really defining life, where it's almost like, imagine you're driving your car at night. And what I heard you saying, again, I'm just going to kind of wrap this up with this, is as you're driving, your headlights only allow you to see so far. But what do? We kept going, right? And so what I hear you saying is, as you found one person, it put light on your next person, your next book, or your next speaker, or your next class that you were supposed to be involved in. Is that a fair example?
That is the story of my life. If I told you the story of my life from when I had my kids to where I am now, it would take a couple hours story. It is amazing. My book title, if I ever would write a book, would be "Thank You, God, for Being Smarter Than Me." Because the things that came into my life that I would not have asked for from a conscious level have really changed my life in amazing ways.
Well, Dr. Laura, I want to read a couple more, and then I have another. I still have only asked you one of those 2 words I wanted to ask you, and we may have to get back to it the next time. But Intrigued Creature says, when my husband died, I knew I needed to find something to be grateful for. After 2 days, I gave thanks to God, and the toilet flushed.
Wow.
I have to have a little bit more information on that one. Intrigued. You've left us as intrigued creatures. Arlene, thank you. She's our smart chat operator. She says, FYI, you can change your nickname by going to the settings icon. There you go. Thank you. Damawi, it says, Reverend Laura, you always serve up a full plate when you speak.
Oh, thank you, Damawi.
I want to jump on it for just a second. I've been coming to the center now for I can't remember. It's been, let's call it 13 to 15 years, and I've been blessed to listen to Dr. Joe a ton and the guest speakers and Dr. Laura. And I was fortunate enough this week, because we record and that's what I do. When I got done with Dr. Laura's talk that you're going to have an opportunity to watch this Sunday, I went up to her and I said, I think this is your best ever. And to me, it's like that headlight. It's greater now. Your talk on Sunday is going to be so moving and so powerful for so many people. I'm not going to reveal anything, just that, you know what? I think it was your best ever. And I want to say thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It was fun doing.
Donna says, Dr. Laura, you are so inspiring. Thank you for being so down to earth and open.
Oh, thank you.
Popular newbie. Thank you, Reverend Laura. Donna says the interaction between you two is delightful. Hey, I'm just a kid from West Texas, and she's just a kid who should have been on the football team.
Yeah, right. She should have been a quarterback.
Just kidding. Okay. Let's see. Divine says, doesn't Mary Morrissey have a huge syllabus for transformative process? I remember it is a lot of work.
It is. You know what? It's okay. I don't know about hers. I'm sure she does. I'm sure there's other people that have them too. But here's the thing. It's not work if you really are enjoying it and you're starting to see the changes and you're feeling the changes within yourself. You know what? You're going to be here anyway. That was it. I never wanted to be a practitioner. In fact, Jeff, I remember you were in one of my Science of Mind classes, and I said, "Are you going on to practitioner class? You and Carmen?" Oh. And you said, "I'll think about it," but you never did. You would have anyway.
Too much work for me.
You're doing exactly what you're supposed to do, Jeff.
Yeah,
you're right.
I'm blessed to be here. Cool one says, hey, Dr. Laura, by starting your own business, you were able to shine your inner light to create changes for women in the workplace. Thank you. You are an amazing teacher. Let's see. Arlene says, you two are great. Thank you, Arlene. We really appreciate that. Eager Legend, thanks for tuning in and sharing. We've missed you, Laura. So happy to see you, and thanks to Jeff for his expert facilitating. Thank you very, very much. Hey, Dr. Laura, we have just a couple of minutes, and we might go a couple of minutes over. Are you guys okay with that if we just went a couple of minutes over? Dr. Laura, do you have a couple extra minutes?
Sure.
We talked about
I have a depot at 1. I've got all day.
Cool. And I don't have a mani-pedi for another hour, so I'm
okay.
No, I'm just kidding. So we talked about gratitude as a powerful word and what that meant. How does forgiveness play into this?
Well, it's huge. It's so huge. If you're carrying this around, you're not hurting the other person. You're hurting yourself. You're down. Everybody does everything. I don't think people intentionally say, oh, I'm going to do this to you because I want to hurt you. I mean, maybe there are some people. I don't like to believe that. But everybody's doing whatever they do from wherever they are at that moment. It's like with my parents, for instance, when Esperanza said, you've got to, it was little things that I remember my dad, my first boyfriend, I was heartbroken. I was crying and sobbing. And my dad comes over, what are you crying about? And I said, oh, Rich broke up with me and I'm devastated. And I said, I love him so much. And my dad said, what do you know about love? You're too young. Get over it. And I remember that moment thinking,
wow, your dad was tough.
Oh, he was mean. And, but he wasn't. He was a dear, dear man. But he was just thinking, that was his way of dealing with it. And my dad has a whole story too. And I understood the way he was because of his child. But anyway, but that lesson was in that moment, I said, well, maybe I don't know love the way you know it, but it feels like love to me and it hurts. And when I have children, I am never going to diminish how they feel. I am going to remember this, that their feelings are valid for them. And so, so you can, I could have held that and been mad and whatever with my dad. But if you can turn that, what do I learn from this? So when we're not forgiving, the only person we're punishing is ourselves. That person's moving on with their life. Don't try to be vengeful. Don't let it go. Say thank you for that lesson. Because one of the things that Neil teaches that we came here to love, and everything at the opposite of love is going to show up to give us the opportunity to rise above it and to love. One of my favorite books that I tried to read to my 3-year-old granddaughter a couple weeks ago, she wasn't interested, is The Little Soul in the Sun. And it's a story about angels and how we came here and how, anyway, it's a beautiful little book about forgiving and about what we all play in our life, the villain and the angel at some point. And so let's always remember to just let go, let them be, let go, let God, and they're on their path, and release them with love if it's a person that's hurt you, because what good does it do you to hold on to that?
Wow, I don't know about you guys, but this was amazing, amazing, amazing. Like I said, to me, when we first started, I said, "Hey, this is a master class." And when I say a master class, it's an opportunity for me to sit at the feet of somebody who already has climbed a massive mountain. And I know she climbed a mountain because it was in, what country was it in? You guys climbed that
Oh
mountain?
my God, that was when we went to Machu Picchu. No, 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 no. Was it the one? Well, yeah, when we went, yeah,
I
when we
think it
were
was Machu Picchu. Yeah.
Machu Picchu. Oh,
Oh no, no, no. It was in Indonesia, was it not? You
yeah.
guys oh, it was
God, that's terrible.
Mongolia. Wasn't it
Anyway,
Mongolia?
it was high.
Yeah, it was like Tiger Mountain or something like that. Anyway,
Tiger Mountain.
anyway, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for today. I know we barely scratched on the story of Dr. Laura, and I just want to tell you that's how deep her soul is in her story, and how much she can be here for us. And I really appreciate all that you, Dr. Laura. I mean, I know that you stepped in, and you're always here. We really appreciate that. And I want to say thank you to everyone who joined us today, and
Yes.
really all the interaction. This is great. Dem always says forgiveness is like taking the band-aid off and letting the scar heal. Band-aids cover up the stifles the life-giving air. Wow, that in itself is powerful. I think I'm going to have a T-shirt with that, but it's going to be a big one. It'll be maybe a moo. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us. Any last thoughts before we sign off today?
Uh, you know what? It's just like my mission. Be a beacon of light wherever you go. Light the way for others. See others. Be that light. And if you're going through a dark night of the soul, you know, don't forget we have our prayer room open on Sundays at 11. Meet with a practitioner, and you'd be amazed. You'd be amazed at the changes. Get clear on where you want to go, what you want your life to be, and then go meet with a practitioner and have them pray for that. It's very powerful.
Yeah. Hey, before we let you go, just a reminder, to do this, we need your support. The center needs your support. And here's something and that I think of is like, I cannot harvest where I have not planted. And so for me, it's giving back to the center, knowing that I will receive, and many times it's tenfold over. It's just the act of giving opens up that room in your heart for receiving. It's almost like going to my closet and saying, "Hey, I haven't worn these in a long time. I'm going to take them to the mission." And next thing I know, something is given to me that allows me to fill up my chest even more. So think about that. It's a blue line that says donate today below. We really appreciate it. It makes all the difference in the world, and we really appreciate that. And also tomorrow we have the meditation. We have a great meditation by one of our new ministers. We won't tell you who that is. It starts at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Please share Sunday service with a friend. Watch that. I think you will get so much out of it. This gal on the other side of me over here just absolutely knocked out of the park because she has such a giving heart and she just serves. Dr. Laura, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Jeff. I'm so happy you were here with me. This was so much fun. And we do have to do a part 2 sometime when Reverend Charles is available. I was thinking about doing the doctors in the house and have people just write in with questions. Like Dr. Laura, the good Dr. Laura.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, in essence, that's kind of what's happened here. I mean, I'm watching, I have a second screen over here, and boy, they're just firing in, and we really appreciate all this. It's been a lot of fun.
It has been. Yeah. It's great to be back, guys. Yeah. Great to be back.
Hey guys, remember, you can change in an instant. If the dark side is on your face, turn around and face the sun. If you want to do more, start that journey. It starts with that first step. The power of attraction, the law of attraction starts with you in your mind deciding and then taking action. I always remember Dr. Joe says, treat and
move your feet.
On that, we're out. You guys have an awesome day, an awesome weekend, and we will see you back here live on Monday with another CSL Daily Live with
me and William. William, buckle up, Buttercup.
That's right. Thank you, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.